I guess I'm gonna have to talk about it. Oh. Tubes. Tubes in the spring can get you right. Look at this stud. There we go. Nice fish. Hey guys, Smallmouth Crush, we're going to talk all about throwing tubes on docks in the spring for some pre-spawners. That's all coming up. So right now I'm on a T dock here. I guess this is an L dock, but it's got a big platform at the end. Most docks do. And right now, a lot of these fish are going to be positioned, I would say about, halfway to the bank out. And a lot of these fish will be some bigger sized females that are waiting to move up to spawn. They will spawn on these docks, but there's a lot of little areas around here that they'll move up to as well. So I really like a tube because I can manipulate the action of it. I can really shake it. I can pitch it to any type of structure, let it just fall. Of course, it's going to kind of swirl down with that type of motion, and I'll give it some quick snaps. I'll drag it, so it's really endless. Dead sticking, I mean, so the tubes I really like for largemouth applications are a little bit different than the tubes that I use for smallmouth. And so we definitely should talk about some of the different tubes that I like, as well as the different colors. The water stained, we had a lot of rain last week, so the water's pretty muddy, and so I went with just black and blue. I think I could get away with like a green pumpkin with maybe a June bug tail, something like that, but I'm gonna stick with this for now. I'm actually, unfortunately, running out of time. I got a couple commitments here later this afternoon, so we're gonna hit a few more docks, and then I'm gonna have to call it a day, I know. So here's the deal, a lot of these fish are staging these triples. That's where 3 poles come together. That's going to be an area that you definitely want to hit. I'm moving right up to it, so I'm just going to position my boat, take my tube, and pitch it towards that triple there. I'm actually going to put my poles down. Just keep us right here for now. Really want to work those poles thoroughly. We got dirty water, so I gotta be fairly close to that fish for him to bite. I didn't get bit on this triple, so I have some single pulls here. I'm gonna hit before I move up to this dock here. This dock should have some fish on it. It's perfect. I just keep hitting every visible item that I can see under this dock. You never know if they want that tube falling directly on them, or popping it away from them, or dragging it, or a combination of both. I'm real erratic with different presentations when it comes to a tube with this style of fishing. But ultimately, I really want to get it close to that structure. So just like that. Give it a pop, maybe one more. Now I'm by a second pole. I might just shake and keep it on the bottom. Another pop. So I'm just kind of messing around with the retrieve until I figure out something that has some consistency to it. You definitely want to take your chances, get that tube way up, back in those poles there. This is a nice dock. There's actually a nice long straightaway here that I'll be able to take this spinning rod and throw that tube way up along the middle of all those poles going back to the bank. And I should be able to catch one doing that. Let me talk about the setup. I'm using a 7.6 medium power. This is a St. Croix Legend Extreme, unbelievable rod, extreme sensitivity. I like the 7.6 only because a lot of times for smallmouth with a tube, I might be what they call cracking a tube out in open water, and I like to get a little bit of distance as well as be able to move that bait a little bit more violently, if you will. So I go with a 7.6. Now around these docks you can get away with a 7 foot. 7.6 just works for me. I'm a little bit taller, so not an issue there. I'm using Cortland. I like high-vis braid, so high-vis Cortland master braid. So this is actually 15-pound test on this spinning rod. All my tubes I go 15, only because I am messing around with docks here for largemouth today. But I feel like it's really pretty thin diameter that you can get away with 15 when you're fishing your tubes. And then I have a 12-pound fluorocarbon leader. 10 maybe, 12 for sure, even 14 if you're in some real nasty stuff. Again, open, it's an exposed hook, guys. It's an exposed hook. I'm not Texas rigging it. There's nothing wrong with Texas rigging a tube. Sometimes I'll go with that, especially if I'm flipping and vegetation. But if I can get away with it, I prefer how naturally a tube looks, at least in my mind, on a open hook tube. You're gonna lose some, you're gonna get hung up. It's just part of the deal. But I really think it looks a lot more natural than a Texas rigged with a weight. That's just me. Plus I'm able to really snap it and give it a lot of erratic motion under the water. Well, it's a fish. It's definitely not big, but it's a fish. There he is. That's a good one. I fished it way back there. Now here's the problem. There's a good one. Okay, clear. Man, I threw it way back in there, right where I was saying he would be. Sure enough. That's a good one here too. Another good one. There. That was fun. I mean, he swallowed it, man. He swallowed that good. So I soak all these tubes with Procure just to give it a little scent. I feel like when they're going to grab on and they get a little taste of crayfish, they're going to commit. I mean, that was down his throat. Let him go. All these fish so far have been way back up under there. Now, that doesn't mean you should not hit these individual pulls at all, because there's times some of the biggest fish will be on that single pull. But I was right here at this angle on that last fish, and I skipped that tube way up underneath there, and we were able to pull him out. That's one great thing about a tube, is you can get it so way back in there. The tube's going to really allow you to get that, cover all that structure. As long as you're a good caster, you'll be able to get that tube under there. Yeah, that's a good cast. Right along all these pilings. I really don't want to go because this is a pretty fun bite. Oh, he was there. Oh my God. Dang it. It's just a weird angle to set the hook, I felt. After that last bite, this tube's pretty much done. Yeah, it just keeps opening up on me, so it's time to go, guys. Oh shoot, I don't want to. There's no way I'm gonna catch a fish on this tube unless I retie it. I don't have time. Oh, plus I gotta bring out the tube box and yeah, we're done here, Travis. Okay, let's talk about the tubes that I throw. Specifically when I'm using an exposed hook for largemouth, I'm gonna grab this box right here. open this up. I really only have a handful. Of course, green pumpkin. I like black and blue. And then I do have a green pumpkin, June bug, and then June bug with electric blue, or whatever you want to call it. Those seem to be my best tubes for this type of application. And so again, I only have 4 basic colors that I use. These are your standard, you know, 3.5, 4-inch tube, whatever tube you prefer. I really encourage you guys to give tubes a try. So that's the deal. We can look at this tube here, and you can see I just use a tube insert, right, which peeled apart. I mean, I'm gonna hit docks, right? I'm not always making 100% accurate casts. I'm banging it off the pilings and it's gonna crack open, but that's it. I just put a tube insert like that. That's probably a size 2 hook on the back. I'll use that for smallmouth, actually. These are the ones that my buddy poured for me. There's a lot of good tube inserts on the market, but that's how I normally would fish this tube. Now I go a little heavy. This is about the lightest I'll go. You'll see me throw a 3/8 quite a bit because I want that reaction bite. It's finally the perfect day, and I got stuff to do later, so I got to get off the water. I would love to keep fishing these docks here, but so hey, if you're new to the channel, we do a lot of tournament videos, practice videos, how-tos, Smallmouth Crush Live. I also do Smallmouth Crush one-on-one. That's where you can go on my website, smallmouthcrush.com, sign up to hang out with me for a whole hour over the computer. You can ask me anything. We can dig into different techniques, bodies of water that you fish, maybe a body of water that you've never been to and you're heading there for a trip and you want to get my opinion about it. Smallmouth Crush one-on-one's the place to find that. I'm going to head her back to the ramp. As always, until next time, guys, we'll see you on the water.